All right, y'all boys, we back with another video. So today we are going to be going over the Honored Gojo, and we're going to be doing a showcase for him. I've already did a video talking about his skills and kit just because he does have a lot of, unique mechanics to his kit that kind of play a lot different than the traditional DPS characters. So we had to make that into a separate video just because of how long it would take. But anyways, yeah, obviously we're going to be using Gojo. And we're going to be doing a showcase on him and, meeting some content with him so you guys can get an idea of how this character plays. Now, it took some while to properly learn the best rotations for this Gojo. And like I said, I wanted to make the showcase after I understood how to use him properly instead of rushing into it with no clue. And since we already talked about his skills, teams, and how to play him on the review video, we're just going to jump straight into the showcase. I do recommend watching the review first before this showcase because motherfuckers really be asking the stupid questions that I literally already talked about. Okay, so anyways, let's go to our teams and then, we'll go to the actual stages. So first up, this is going to be the first team that we're going to be using. This is obviously going to have Yuki, Yaga, Geto, Gojo, and Domain Megami. And yeah, this is going to be the first team, and we're going to be doing Curse Sweep first. All right, y'all. So we're here on the new sweep boss, right, for green. You guys probably already seen this boss before. It's literally the poison guy. But as you can see, I'm just going to show you the skills real quick, so that way you can just kind of see how much skill levels I have invested in everything. And obviously, since this is an Honored Gojo showcase, I mean, he's obviously going to be the highlight of this entire thing, right? So let's get right into it, and you'll just be able to see what we're going to be able to do to this boss. Like, you guys are just going to see how insane the new Honored Gojo is. Like, he's like, people don't give him enough credit because of how long he takes to wind up, and you kind of have to front load a lot of his, curse stacking or core stacks compared to other characters. So even if you tried to rush for his ult, it wouldn't matter too much if you're not getting your cores. But trust me, bro, this character is amazing, bro. So here you can just see that we are buffing and, obviously debuffing the enemy. Now just keep an eye on obviously all the skill 2s that we're popping with our Gojo. And remember, as we continuously keep popping our skill 2s, we're going to be obviously increasing our Jujutsu damage, which is obviously going to help us do more damage with our Gojo too, right? So you'll just kind of see here that our damage is going to just keep skyrocketing, bro. Like, look right here, 1 mil on what's it called, on his skill 2. And like, keep in mind, we aren't even like in, honored state or anything like that. We're not even like going for the ult yet. But yeah, anyways, the new sweep boss is obviously annoying. We already fought this boss before in like other like missions, but he's probably the most difficult out of all the bosses, I'd say. They basically gave this boss like, the annoying cancer poison just for them to reduce poison damage and stuff like that. If your characters aren't leveled and invested enough, they will like die here very quickly. So, obviously you're just going to want to have a really good investment to do this. Not that anybody should be attempting this without any good investment, but you probably wouldn't make it too far on the phases if you don't invest enough. But yeah, so as you can see, we're still popping the skill 2s. We're roughly doing about 1 million each turn easily. So our Yuki died here. Now we finally get our Domain Megami in, and then that's where it starts to ramp up, because obviously Domain Megami is like, he's basically goated as fuck inside this mode. So 1.3 mil, no crit. As you can see, we're just hitting constantly 1 mils plus. He does really good damage, very consistent damage. And then he also has like a very good nuke. He has survivability, sustain, everything. All right, so we go into the honored state. We have 6 cores. So we're almost near the maximum amount of cores that we want for the maximum amount of damage. So we're going to use skill 2 here, keep stacking those cores. Should be able to break him or kill him. Yeah, 2.2 mil on a crit. Again, 2.4 mil. Very high output damage. You're not even really using your ult yet. And obviously the reason why we're not using our ult is because obviously we're kind of, going for the Megami debuffs. Gonna go again, 3.8 mil. Like, look at the amounts of damage that we're just doing with just skill 2, bro. Just with skill 2, nothing else, not even using his ult yet. just straight skill 2 popping, and we're just like, we're slamming a heavy amounts of damage onto this boss, literally. Like, I don't know, this character is insane in terms of the amount of damage that you could do, because it's very consistent if you have the proper team to do it, right? So as you can see, we already in Shadow Garden with our Domain Megami. We're just going to be, you know, stacking up the debuffs with his skill 1 before we finally do nuke him. And then obviously we're going to start buffing with his skill 3 because we want to get that damage dealt increase right before we actually do the final turn and then nuke with our Gojo. All right, and then obviously we're going to ult with Geto because Geto will break, and then, well, hopefully he'll break. If he doesn't break, it's fine, but he does really good damage, so there's no reason for us to not ult for a combo. Yeah, he did break. 9 point something mil. Goated Geto, by the way. Then we're going to have Gojo pop in, use his ult. He has all the buffs, active cores, everything. 27 mil. Easy. Easy 27 mil. And then we're going to get the combo damage, and then obviously keep in mind, you can just keep spamming skill 2s with this character, bro, and just do more damage. But you do reset, right? Because obviously you're not in the honored mode anymore once you use your ult. But it's fine. Like, you're going to do good enough damage with your skill 2s and all the buffs that you have active. Pop that Shoko memory right here to get some more heals. Look at that. 3.3 mil. He's just popping straight heavy damage. I don't think any other character in the game could do a consistent amount of damage like he does. I don't even think Muta comes this close. 1.9 mil. Yeah, we're starting to lose some of the debuffs and stuff, but that's fine. And there it is. Easy as that. So there's the sweep. Obviously the hardest, you know, things that you could do in the game, not counting tower. So we're going to move on to the next thing. All right, y'all. So we're here on floor 37. As you can see, we do have our lineup with being Yaga, Geto, Domain Megami, and Honored Gojo, because he's obviously the star. We already kind of skipped through everything. This is basically going to be the nuke showcase. Now, normally we would have obviously our Geto use his ult here, but we're not going to do any combo ults or anything of the sort. We're just going to do some debuffing so we can get the maximum amount of damage that we can get on our Gojo itself. Now, like I said, we already skipped through most of the things, so we are here on the final turn of Shadow Garden. The way you know this is we have one debuff here, and then we have another debuff over here, right? So that's already 2 turns of Domain Megami Shadow Garden. So we already have obviously the buffs 2 from Yaga. We do have the 4 turns of the buffs. This is going to be the 4th turn right now with his final buff. We're going to have obviously the last debuff 2 from Geto here, since we've been debuffing at the same time since we, you know, went into the Shadow Garden with Domain Megami's ult. And obviously we're going to get that last stack of Domain Megami's skill 1, like I mentioned. And for Gojo himself, we've already buffed him twice with his skill 3. We have 8 cores already. So we're basically at the maximum amount of damage that we can do possible, right? And then we already had activated Pride earlier, just to show you that we did activate Pride already previously. Let me get to it real quick. As you can see, we still have 2 turns left and 2 activations left. So we're going to be able to activate Pride and get that second stack on top of it while also using his ult and then absolutely obliterating the boss, right? So this is going to be the nuke showcase essentially. But yeah, anyways, let's get right into it. No combo ult, but it's fun. It is what it is. And you might be asking, why do I have Domain Megami in the 3rd slot? That's because if I didn't team Geto, you know, he's going to get that Domain Megami damage buffs, and he'll probably kill him before we even get to the Gojo. So we kind of had to swap it up a little bit. Had to weaken ourselves. That's just how strong Green Geto is, even though that's not his showcase, but you get the picture. As you can see, that was 47 million. Absolutely obliterated the fucking boss in one fucking shot. Yeah, I mean, this Gojo does so much fucking damage. It's not even funny. Absolutely ridiculous how much damage he does. All right, so here we are on this fight. This is going to be floor 63. We are going to be fighting, obviously, the, you know, the Hangman, and then obviously the Black Menos Grande, whatever you want to call this thing, the Hollow, whatever. Again, another way to show how good this Gojo is just to do one of the harder floors that did come out. So I'm not going to really talk too much because obviously this is going to be quite a bit, but I'll just kind of obviously give you the basis, you know, Gakuganji debuffing, you know, Domain Megami obviously debuffing, Gojo DPS, and then, you know, you do have, of course, the Kaido to kind of give us some sustain, well, not sustain, but survivability for our team, right? He's going to be very helpful for these later floors too. So as you already see straight off the bat, we're just going to be spamming skill 2 with Gojo because, again, you want to front load a lot of his cores. You want to try to get those cores up so he does more damage. You'll notice that he's going to be doing a lot of damage with his skill 2s because once he starts getting them running, he's going to be very consistent in dealing out that damage compared to other DPS characters. On top of that, one thing I do want to note is obviously his ult is single target, but you're going to just see how good this Gojo is that even though he's single target, he's still going to be tearing apart even mostly mobs. We got 6.7 right now. It's going to take some time, so let's just, you know, give it a bit. So we're still building those cores on our Gojo. We're gonna use Pride obviously because we want to have our Pride ready to go. Get some extra damage in. As you see, 2 mil. Then we're gonna go into the honored state. Get some of our ults off, get some, you know, debuffs, get some, you know, survivability going here. All right, so Kaido's out of here. Now we finally got our Geto in. This is where our damage is going to start ramping up. But yeah, as you can see, just because obviously Gojo's skill 2 is just like so insanely strong, by being able to give himself cores and boost his Jujutsu damage, we're basically able to kind of dwindle down one boss by just using skill 2s because it takes some time to build up. And then with the, you know, obviously we're going to be able to just get rid of the other boss with no problem whatsoever. So over here, I'm a little bit worried that I might not be able to kill the other guys, so we did try to go for a little bit of a debuff there. Activate Pride again, use our skill 2, move on to the other boss, do some damage there. Easy kill, 2 mil, just constantly spamming 2 mil easily. Basically, this other guy, he's not even gonna last. He's literally not gonna last. He's fucking cooked. Hit him real quick with a note. Boom, 11 mil. Obviously, we had a lot of our debuffs kind of spreaded, but it's fine. And obviously, Geto came in late too. But no problem, because Gojo just does, he's just that guy, bro. He just does all that damage. Yeah, 1.2, we just ranking it up, racking up as much as we can. Getting real close to dying here, so I'm thinking about going into the honored state and then just popping off the domain Megumi's ult here, so I could just start debuffing the boss immediately. All right, so our Gaku Ganji died, so we are starting to cut it a little bit close, but I think we still have this in the bag. We're basically ramping up, and our Gojo's nearing, you know, his completion. He's literally gonna fucking obliterate this guy. 2.5 mil right there, no problem. Hit him with a Geto ult real quick too. Fucking break the boss. 3.8 mil with a crit. Yeah, the fucking boss is basically done at this point. Another 2 mil. And yeah, boss is dead because obviously we could just ult with Gojo. GG. Basically over. And here he comes, the honored one. Boom, 3.8 mil. I mean, whatever. Obviously, we weren't expecting a lot after, you know, we had like no debuffs and stuff left. But yeah, as you can see, Lord 63 beaten with Gojo, no problem.